The US dollar pulled back hard last week, but is it primed to rally in the week ahead? That's what I'm answering in today's video. I'm sharing my exact trade plan for the DXY, the euro, the pound, the Australian dollar, and also gold for the week ahead. So my name is Justin Bennett, full-time trader and founder of Daily Price Action. As always, all of this is my opinion only and not financial advice. So let's get into it, guys, looking at the DXY 4-hour chart. So last week, in the last weekly forecast, okay, or the weekly outlook that I made, I was looking for 99. Okay, this was the level that I mentioned that was an imbalance following this run up. And one of the reasons why 99 specifically was on my radar is because looking at the daily chart, you can see that this candle right back here from March 11th, notice how we had no retrace into this, okay? This was not mitigated at all. It was a large imbalance back here for the DXY, and that's exactly what we saw here last week. Now, we did get the market bouncing from this, okay? Now, obviously, last week we had a lot of event risk too on the calendar, not to mention, you know, everything going on in Iran and everything else. So there was a lot of volatility last week. So this right here, guys, was difficult to buy simply because we really didn't have much structure here on the way down. Now, what do I mean by that? So whenever I'm looking for a reversal like this down here. So first of all, I knew that this was an area where I potentially wanted to do business. Okay, because first of all, we have the bottom of this channel that we've talked about now for weeks. And furthermore too, you can see that if we map out from this low down here, this external low up here to the high, you can see where OTE comes in right here at this imbalance as well. Okay, so this was an imbalance back here on the run up, and we got the mitigation of this back here into OTE. However, again, what made this difficult was the structure at the time. Obviously, we had a lot of volatility back here. This was a very aggressive move lower. But then following this right here, once the DXY bottomed, if you look at the 15-minute chart, there really wasn't a whole lot to do here. In other words, if we had more structure on the way down, so something more orderly like this here, right? And then you get the move lower, and then you get, you know, a swing to play like this, right? Where you get the market giving you a BOS to the downside, and then you get it taken out this high and you get that change of character. That ideally is what I like to see to buy, okay? And what you'll notice is that back here, we just pretty much went straight lower, right? There were no obvious swings in the market here to play. And then we had this low form and then pretty much just bottom from there, okay? So this is a little bit more difficult, in my opinion, to play versus, like I just showed you, getting that you know, definitive structure to map out a change of character. So all in all, guys, I mean, this pulled back right where I thought it might in the last Outlook video. If you go back there and watch that, 99 was the level I was watching, which you can see this low right here was literally at 99 or 98.98. So I mean, literally right below 99 in that area plus OTE. But again, the structure here really was not ideal for a buying opportunity. Now, we will see what we get next week. You know, if we were to see the DXY come back here and revisit this low, okay, and then give us something down here, some type of structure to play to potentially buy this market, then that could be one thing. Okay, so that could be interesting. However, at the same time, I am not overly convinced by that, okay? And I'll show you why when we look at the euro and especially the pound next. But right now, I'm really honestly in a situation where I'm open to either situation. I know you guys don't like hearing that, but right now, this has been a trend that's been in place for some time, right? If you go back here to the low, this has been since late January. We've had this nice orderly trend within this channel. And look, there is, if you go to a 4-hour time frame, there is a large imbalance back here. Now, I'm not saying that the DXY is going to come back here and revisit this area, okay? But I would not be at all surprised if we did, okay? So if we were to get acceptance below here, start taking out lows like this, then this down here would be the area to be watching. Now, you might be thinking, okay, well, if we were to close below, and this is just a hypothetical, guys, I don't know what's going to happen. This is just kind of mapping out different scenarios in case we get it. But if we were to see the DXY take out this low, you might be thinking, well, now that we have this BOS, wouldn't that be a change of character? And couldn't that be a top for the dollar? And look, it could be, okay? But at the same time, whenever you are using a low like this right here as your protected low to map out a change of character, the issue with that is that if you look back here at this price leg, okay, so looking here from this low down here, okay, so right before this BOS down here, up here to this high, if you map this out over here, I'm going to get rid of this one. But if you map this out, what you'll notice is that this pullback, okay, so this low right here, basically just pulled back to the 50%. We never really got an extended retrace into discount here and, you know, mitigating this imbalance back here on that run up. So using this low right here to map out a change of character and saying, well, if we break below here, it's all over. is a little bit premature in my opinion, because again, we do have this unmitigated imbalance back here. And this low right here was relatively shallow for this move that we got, okay, this price leg. So it's always a little bit dangerous trying to call a top off of a low like this right here, okay? So that's what I'm gonna say about that. Now, obviously, there's no guarantee that we do come back here toward this area in this, 98.20, 98 area. But if we were to get this, then again, this is an imbalance back here to be aware of, okay? So what the DXY would have to do there is start taking out, again, this low down here, give us acceptance below the bottom of this channel, and then obviously take out this low. Okay, now alternatively, if, like I said, we were to come back here, take out this low down here, and then give us something to work with next week, right? Then we could be looking at a potential bottom here, but I'm not rushing into anything. I really want to see what develops early next week. Okay, so longer term, guys, I want to be clear that I am still bullish on the US dollar, mainly because of what we got from the euro this month. But right now, it's unclear if we are going to see a larger pullback here from the DXY first down here into this pocket before we get a continuation of some sort, or if we're just going to continue within this channel. And again, time will tell. There's no way to know what is the likely scenario now, especially like I said, after that lack of structure that we got here on that Thursday drop. Okay, let's move on here to the euro. So this one right here, you can see where we had the BOS back here. And last week was a lot of internal price action. And what I told members in Discord, 2 weeks ago, at the end of 2 weeks ago, I said that last week was likely to be a lot of internal price action, or a lot of resetting of the chart, so to speak. And that's because you did have these moves back here. And we caught a lot of this. I mean, we had 3 winners in that week, 3 trades, 3 winners in that week. Last week, I traded one time. It was a loss. Okay. And that's okay. I don't win them all. But last week was just a lot of internal consolidation from these markets. So it's kind of unclear again as to what we're going to get here. Now, looking at the structure though for the euro, what you can see is that we do have this BOS. Okay, so this is the last thing on the chart right here. Now, yes, we have had higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so this could be something to pay attention to, the fact that we are starting to put in those higher highs and higher lows here. But this external high up here is also going to be the one to watch. So this is the one up here around 116.65 or so that buyers are going to have to take out in order to expose higher levels. Now, just like with the DXY though, what you'll notice here is if we go to a daily time frame, it's really obvious. This entire area, okay, so right back here is one massive imbalance here for this market. Okay, so this could be a case where even though, like with the DXY, if we were to get a move above this high, then it could just be a case where we're coming back here to mitigate this imbalance. And then from there, we get the rotation lower. Okay, so I am completely open to whatever we get here from these markets. I'm staying very flexible with this during this time, just because you can see here on the euro that we are getting this close below, okay, this low back here. So that change of character. And like I said before in my last videos, that was the first change of character on the daily time frame since all the way back here in 2024. So during this drop back here, right, this was obviously the last downtrend for the euro. Since this time, since 2025, we've had nothing but higher highs and higher lows. And this change of character, okay, right here is the first time since this downtrend. So in my opinion, this back here is material. Now, just because you get a change of character though, that does not mean that you're looking for shorts right away. In fact, just the opposite. All this tells us is that we got acceptance below this low, and this points to material weakness in the euro. However, you do not want to be shorting down here because you'd be shorting low. Instead, what you want to look for are shorts, okay, on mitigations of buy-side imbalances. Now, what that means for the euro, again, is this area back here potentially. Okay, we don't know that yet, but this is a massive imbalance here for this market. Now, one thing too that I want to point out, but before I do that though, if you do want to have my help in Discord and get access to real-time market updates, seeing my trades live, getting full access to the SMC course, then check out this link right here on the screen. That's going to give you an SMC course that is completely free. So it's almost 2 hours worth of content that you will not find on YouTube. Beyond that link, you will have a chance to join us in Discord and gain access to the full course if you want. If not, check out this free course here. I mean, you might as well. It's completely free and it will help you with your trading. So with regard to the euro, what I'm kind of eyeing here at the moment, given again, the fact that we do have these higher highs and higher lows that formed recently, this could be a case where we come up here and take out this high and mitigate this imbalance back here. Now, if we take our fibs from this high back here, okay, so again, we know we have that change of character. So what we can do is take from this high up here down here to the low, because now we've had a pretty considerable rally from the euro off of this low. So that right there tells us that this is an external low. And what you'll notice is that premium, okay, comes in all the way up here. This is our 50% line up here. So all the way up here is premium. This is basically what I need to see to short this market. Now, what you'll also notice though, is that we do have an open gap right back here. So this was a weekend gap from the euro. This is completely unfilled right now. And you can also see that off of this low from the same candle, this is also a fair value gap. So what's going to be interesting here over the coming days and potentially weeks, because we don't know how long this is going to take, if it happens at all. But this area right back here, right around 1.18, I think this is interesting because, again, you do have that unfilled gap back here, and then you've got this imbalance, this pocket back here in this region. Now, again, for me, what I need to see in order to look for shorts here is going to be a move above about 117.50. Okay, this right here is kind of the line in the sand for me, where if I'm going to look for shorts here for the euro for something much larger, then I need to be looking for this area up here, right? Because I don't want to short low. I don't want to short down here in this region following this change of character. I want to look for a move higher because I want to short high. Okay, so again, I do think that this area up here is going to be one to watch. Now, the trigger for that move, though, what it's going to take from buyers is really taking out this external high. Okay, so this high right here. So following this BOS, this is going to be the external high here. You can see this imbalance right back here. So in order for this to materialize, really, the market's going to have to take out this high. And so, quite a ways to go before we get that. Now, obviously, next week, if we were to see the euro start to come down here and take out the lows again, then that's completely different. And now we're looking at a continuation of this trend. But again, right now, with these higher highs and higher lows, I am kind of eyeing, or at least, open to the potential for that push into buy side imbalances like this one up here at 1.18. Obviously, what happens with the DXY2 will also matter for this market. Okay, so moving on to the pound. Now, this is one more reason why I am open to the idea of, potentially getting some rallies here from the euro and the pound, at least some relief rallies, because I've made videos on this before, but this right here, I like to call a distribution channel, simply because you get a market making a mean like this, a midpoint through here, you get the market distributing to either side of this. Now, what you'll notice is that here last week, we did get a change in behavior, not to be confused with a change of character, but this change of behavior is basically like this, where you get a channel where the market is respecting this, extremely well. In this case here, you can see back to late January. This is a very long running channel here. The market has respected this incredibly well since that time. And what you'll notice is that last week on Thursday on that rally, we did get acceptance above here. Now, it does not matter that we started to close back within this, okay? All you need to have is this right here. Again, I've made a video on this before, that this right here will often give you an early warning sign before you get a change of character. So for the pound, the change of character I'm referring to would have to occur on a close above this high, because following this BOS right here, okay, so we got the BOS down here, that makes this up here the external high. So any acceptance above this would give us that change of character. But again, looking at this right here relative to this channel, I do think that this is something to pay attention to, where potentially we get some relief for the euro and the pound. But again, the jury is out, guys. I mean, it's just way too soon. There's way too much indecision out there in these markets right now, given the fact that last week was really just internal, like I said. Okay, so open to either scenario, guys. Obviously, if we were to start taking out some lows again, like the euro, like I mentioned there, then that would be different, and then we have a continuation of this trend. But this right here is something to pay attention to. It could be an early sign that we are going to get some relief. Again, same thing here for the higher highs and higher lows that did form last week. Just keep in mind, though, that all of this right here is really just internal, okay? So don't be too quick to call this one way or the other. The best thing to do right now is early next week, just kind of take a day or two, let markets show their hand before you act. Now, the Australian dollar, guys, I'm really interested in this one, despite the fact that it has been very choppy. And one reason for this is that the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar are very risk sensitive. What that means is that they tend to follow stocks more closely than a lot of other currencies. And with the stock market breaking down, I made an S&P 500 video on Friday. If you missed that, be sure to check it out. But with the stock market breaking down, I'm interested in this here because of the stock market breaking down and this being a risk sensitive currency, but also the structure here is actually pretty good. If you look at the 4-hour time frame, we've got BOSs back here. That makes this down here the external low. Now, what I also like about this is that if you go out here to the daily, right, what you'll notice is that we have a channel here off of this low down here, all of these highs back here, which this is where the Australian dollar got really, really messy through here. I mean, it was just terrible price action for months. But then you can see we have this low back here, and then we have these recent highs. So we don't have confirmation of this just yet. But looking at this structure here, looking at The stock market, again, also looking at this imbalance back here, which you can see that if I move in here, you can see that on this rally, right, this was basically just one massive, displacement here for this market. Okay, so this back here is completely unmitigated. And what you'll also notice is that this area could potentially line up with the bottom of that channel. Now, it's impossible to say exactly where, potentially sometime maybe in April if we get this short setup. But again, the market has to take out this low back here, right? That's going to be key to take out this external low and give us that change of character. If that happens, then I am looking for shorts against any buy side imbalances that form. Okay, so not completely set up yet. And also too, if we were to get another BOS here, so in other words, if the Australian dollar were to come up here and take out this high instead of breaking below this low, then you would have a new BOS. So it would look like this. You'd have a new BOS above this high up here, okay? And then that would give us a new external low down here off of this low as it stands. So again, no setup here just yet, but this is something I'm watching just simply because of the structure here is actually pretty decent, despite the fact that it does look very sideways. What's going on with the stock market, and also the fact that, again, you have this channel here and that imbalance back here in the area right around 67.50 or so. Okay, so let's finish up with gold XAUUSD, which, I mean, this will be pretty quick because last week, guys, what I was looking for was if we go to an hourly time frame. So this was last week, and what I was looking for here was following this BOS, so this break of structure, we had to close below this low back here. That meant I was only looking for shorts last week. Now, what I was looking for specifically, though, was either this area back here or this one. And what would decide where I would short either this one here or this one would have been low time frame change of character, right? A low time frame shift. Now, instead of getting this up here, these imbalances, instead, what we saw from gold was just going sideways here before a massive drop. Okay, so that's the way it goes. I mean, I missed this one here, but you can see that all we did here was just go sideways following this BOS back here, and then, just went straight down. Okay, so I was looking for this back here to be mitigated first before looking for that shift and then that short setup, which we never got. Okay, so for the week ahead, like a lot of these markets right now, I think that the best thing to do, in my opinion, is going to be to just kind of, wait this out, see what we get early next week. Now, you can see where we are starting to get a little bit of acceptance below this low back here. So it could make this up here a protected high. Now, a lot of this too is going to depend on what we get from the US dollar. So the DXY, like we talked about before. But if we were to get acceptance above here, so if we get that true acceptance below this low here, giving us that BOS, then this up here could be something to watch, where if we were to get a close above here, that could be a near-term bottom to come back here and mitigate some of these imbalances. Okay, but as of right now, really, in my opinion, not a lot to do. Unfortunately, missed this short setup. The analysis was right. I mean, I was spot on to be looking for shorts here following. Again, you can see how this worked out, right? Back here, we had bullish BOSs up here. Okay, so break of structure, break of structure, break of structure. We have the change of character here. Following this right here, I was looking for shorts only. Okay, so the analysis was spot on last week in terms of direction. We just unfortunately did not get that move up here toward those imbalances. Okay, so not a whole lot to do here, in my opinion, at the moment with gold. Early next week, probably best just kind of stand aside, wait for the market to show its hand first. One thing to keep in mind too is that we are pretty close to this low back here. So this has been the range for gold following this move lower. Like I said back here, this was a case where following this impulsive move lower, where we could just go sideways for months. That's what I said. And sure enough, that has been the case, because this was early February. Here we are coming up on the close of March, and we're still in this range. Okay, so this down here, obviously buyers are going to look to protect this. So that could be something as well next week, where if we get a test down here, a retest down here, possibly a reversal from there to come back here and fill in some of these imbalances, which, I mean, look, there are imbalances up here to be mitigated. Okay, I'm not saying that it will happen, but you look at this here, this drop, right? You've got basically imbalances like this here. You've got an imbalance back here, even back here, right? The ones that we did not get last week for the short setup. So there are a lot of imbalances here for gold that could become a factor, but the key for that to become a target would be a convincing change of character down here at that low. Okay, and so far, obviously, we don't have that. Sellers are in complete control. So if this video helps, subscribe to the channel. Also check out this link right here that's going to give you access to a free SMC course that is going to show you exactly how I trade full time, step by step. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you again on Monday.